my dear students. I welcome you in this lecture series of Database Management System. As we have already started here diagram, if some of you have missed my previous lecture, definitely I will tell them, please revisit that lecture because I have already discussed the basic concept of keys and what are the different types of basic keys like super key, candidate key, primary key, foreign key. Now, in this lecture, we are going to discuss three more types of keys, which are also very much important. One is called unique key, another one will be called as alternate key, and another will be called as composite key. So, we will start with first composite key, and then we will discuss other keys. Now, what I have planned that once I have completed these types of keys, then I will discuss with you what is the different types of entities and different types of integrity constraints, means rules, which is imposed on the database in my next lecture. And after that, we will draw very simple yard diagram using very simple cases so that you students can understand what is the practical implications of these keys and yard diagram in our real life. So then you will better understand and then you will feel interested in these concepts. Okay, so let's start with the three different keys.
Now, in my last lecture, already I have discussed with you what is a primary key. Then I told you some of the features of the primary key. The most important feature of primary key is that it is unique and not null. First. Second, it is by default indexed. And primary key can be used as foreign key in another table. So let's understand what is a foreign key. Now the primary key of one table, as I told you, it will be denoted as foreign key of another table. And why it is needed? Because I want to establish relationship between two different tables. Take the example of department and employee. First, look at the employee table. Employee table is having employee ID, employee name, employee other personal details, mobile number like this. Now, whenever that employee has joined in my organization, I have to allocate some department to the employee, isn't it? So, in the employee table itself, I should have some department information about that particular employee. So what I should do, that only I will include a single column, department ID. Okay. This department ID in the employee table will be serving as foreign key. Why? Because as I told you, since it is serving as a foreign key in this table, that means it must be a primary key of another table. Now look at the department table. Department table is having department ID and department name. So whenever you will be looking at this department master table, you can have lot of information about different departments, isn't it? Department ID, department name, department manager's name, department location, isn't it? There can be many different information. But if I can include this department ID column, which is the primary key of department table, as foreign key in the employee table, then what happens? Now department ID becomes foreign key of the employee table. Now if department ID is a foreign key, it should have certain properties. First property is that only those department ID values are allowed in the employee table which are present in the department master table. Understood? That means you can see from here, department ID only D101, D102 and D103 is mentioned in the department master table. Now, if I give in the employee table E101, if I give department ID as D104, immediately it will give me some error message. That means wrong data I cannot insert into the table. That means only I can give either D101 or D102 or D103. Definitely we cannot give any value apart from these three values of department ID. So the first property of foreign key is that only those values of foreign keys are allowed in the derived table which is having same value as that of the master table. Understood? This is the first. Means it should have matching values. This is called department ID. In the employee table, must have matching values with the department table. This is first property. Second property is that department ID can be null also. Because suppose a new employee has joined E101, but he has not been allocated any department as yet. So department ID, you can keep it null. But if you are giving any value, then definitely you have to give either D101 or D102 or D103. No extra value you can give to department ID. So these two are very important. That means foreign key can have either null value or the matching value. Understood? This is the concept of foreign key. Next comes the concept of alternate key. Now, what is alternate key? The concept of alternate key is very simple. In a table, we can have more than one candidate keys, but we are not choosing all candidate keys as primary key, isn't it? Like branch table, I have chosen only branch number as the primary key. But I have not chosen telephone number is the primary key. Although telephone number is serving all the purposes, but telephone number cannot be chosen as primary key because telephone number cannot be unique. And that's why this telephone number will be called as alternate key. That means I can tell what is an alternate key. Any key that it is capable of being the primary key, but it is not chosen as the primary key will be serving as alternate key. Understood? So telephone number is the alternate key. Then what is unique key? Unique key is a column or set of columns again, which uniquely identify a row. And remember that unique key is not same as that of the primary key, because primary key cannot have null value, but unique key can have null value. Okay? Only one null value it can take, unique key. And the last concept is called the surrogate key. Surrogate key is also very, very simple concept. Sometimes in a table, you will not find any primary key. Like in this table, I have got first name, last name, shift start and shift end. As you can see from this particular table, I cannot choose first name as the primary key or last name or shift start or shift end. In this kind of situation, what I can do, I will give a serial number. I will add simple serial number. This serial number will have 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are serially ordered integers. These serially ordered integers or serial number can serve as the primary key. So if I give the serial number 1, immediately the first row will be selected, isn't it? So this serial number will be called as surrogate key, because in this particular table, I cannot choose any column as the primary. Understood? So with this, I am concluding the lecture of keys in DBMS. I have already discussed in my last lecture as well as in this particular lecture the keys concept, which will be surrogate key, which is for your primary key, which is your foreign key. Okay, you people have to decide. So you have to understand this keys concept. That's why it's very much important. And with this, I'm concluding my lecture over here, and stay tuned for my next lecture, and hope you are definitely getting benefited by these lectures. If you are really getting benefited, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.